Right now, an estimated $200 billion is floating completely untraceable through the global financial system. It belongs to a man whose official salary is just $140,000 a year. A man who technically owns absolutely nothing, but if you cross him, you lose everything. You think you know Vladimir Putin, the tough Russian president, the former spy, but everything you believe about his wealth is wrong. The real story of his dynasty is a masterclass in dark money, hidden palaces, and a secret financial machine that has completely fooled the world. Let's rewind. If you consider yourself someone who wants to understand how the global economy actually works in the shadows, pay close attention, because by the end of this video, you will understand the exact financial loophole that allows the world's most powerful people to hide their money in plain sight. You will see why the official narrative was intentionally designed to keep you looking the wrong way. And you will discover the completely hidden, isolated life of a secret family that not even Kremlin insiders are allowed to talk about. Let's go back to where this obsession with control really started. It didn't begin in the Kremlin. It started decades earlier, in the kitchens of the most dangerous men who ever lived. The year is 1879. A peasant boy named Spiridon Putin is born in a tiny Russian village. He has one unusual talent. He can cook. In the early 1900s, when the wrong meal could get you shot, a great cook was worth his weight in gold. Spiridon eventually becomes the personal chef to Vladimir Lenin. Then, he becomes a recurring cook for Joseph Stalin. Stalin was one of the most paranoid men in human history. He executed people just for blinking wrong, yet Spiridon Putin stayed. He survived. He learned that being quietly indispensable to power is the only way to stay alive. A peasant's grandson would one day run the entire country, and that is not a coincidence. Fast forward to 1952, post-war Soviet Union. Vladimir Putin is born into absolute poverty. His family lives in a shared apartment, no hot water, a broken toilet, literal rats in the stairwell. Putin once told a story about cornering a rat in that stairwell, only for the rat to turn around and attack him. He never forgot it. A trapped animal will always fight back. He was telling us exactly who he was going to become. Psychologists call this kind of upbringing adverse childhood experiences, trauma that permanently rewires how you view the world. When you grow up with zero safety net, you learn quickly that nobody is coming to save you. So, at just 16 years old, Vladimir walks into the KGB headquarters. He doesn't wait to be recruited, he asks to join. For a bullied kid from a rat-infested apartment, the secret police isn't just a job, it is power. Fast forward to 1989. Putin is a KGB officer stationed in East Germany. The Berlin Wall falls. The Soviet Union collapses. Angry crowds storm his building. Putin calls Moscow for military backup, and the answer he gets changes his life forever. Moscow is silent. The state cannot protect him. In that exact moment, he realizes a fundamental truth. The system will not keep you safe. Only money can protect you. Only total control can protect you. Enter the 1990s. The Soviet Union is gone, and the country is having a massive fire sale. State factories, oil fields, and gas pipelines are sold off for pennies to anyone with connections. The economy is bleeding, but for a select few, it is the greatest party in human history. Putin lands a job in the St. Petersburg mayor's office, handling foreign export licenses. He is the gatekeeper. While loud, flashy oligarchs are buying sports teams and getting themselves assassinated, Putin is quietly building a machine. He knows that flashy gets you targeted. True power is invisible. And this brings us to the engine of the entire system, the ultimate magic trick of dark economics. On paper, it is brilliant. It is the financial version of a Matryoshka doll. Here's how it works. You create a shell company. A shell company is basically a financial ghost. It is an empty box, registered in a place like Panama or the British Virgin Islands. It produces nothing, it sells nothing. Next, You need a proxy. You hand the keys to this empty box to your best childhood friend, let's say a professional cellist who knows absolutely nothing about global finance. Then a Russian state bank, which you secretly control, gives that empty box a massive loan. We are talking hundreds of millions of dollars. Does the box ever pay the loan back? No, because it's what experts call a sweetheart loan. It is free money disguised as business. The empty box then takes that money and buys a super yacht, or luxury apartments, or a staggering $1.4 billion palace on the Black Sea. Officially, the cellist owns all of it. In reality, you control the cellist. This is the secret to the Putin dynasty's wealth. You don't own the assets. You control the people who own the assets. If your name is never on the paperwork, nobody can ever freeze your bank accounts. And the system escalates incredibly fast. At first, it's just a few $1,000,000. Then, it becomes a multi-billion-dollar offshore slip and slide. Putin's childhood friends, his old judo sparring partners, his former KGB colleagues, they all suddenly become billionaires. The machine is flawless. Everyone gets insanely rich as long as they remain totally loyal. But there is a catch. You cannot move billions of dollars across the globe without leaving a digital footprint. Eventually, someone is going to look under the floorboards. In 2016, the system suffered its first massive crack, the Panama Papers. Millions of leaked documents from a secretive law firm were suddenly exposed to the public. Investigative journalists mapped out the exact trail. They found $2 billion secretly shuffled through banks and shadow companies linked directly to Putin's inner circle. They found Bank Rossiya, an institution the U.S. government literally labeled as Putin's personal cash box. The world gasped. The evidence was right there, in black and white, but the system had a failsafe built into it. When the rules are enforced by the very people breaking them, the game never stops. The Kremlin simply called it Western propaganda. The music kept playing. Then came the invasion of Ukraine, the point of no return. The West unleashed the heaviest financial sanctions in modern history. They tried to seize his wealth, but how do you seize an empire that technically doesn't exist? You cannot legally confiscate a bank account that belongs to a random musician in St. Petersburg, even if the entire world knows who really pulls the strings. The dark money machine was stress-tested by the most powerful governments on Earth, and for the most part, it held its ground. But every machine requires fuel, and the fuel for this one is the Russian people. The average salary in Russia is around $700 a month. The life expectancy for men is among the lowest in developed Europe. Hospitals crumble and infrastructure rots, while billions of dollars are siphoned away every single year. The public pays the ultimate price so that a select few can live like modern emperors. Which leads us to the most guarded secret of all. The reason all this money needs to be hidden in the first place. The hidden families. For years, Putin completely erased his 2 official daughters from public life. They lived under fake names, but the rabbit hole goes much deeper. In late 2024, investigative journalists from the Dossier Center finally shattered the Kremlin's biggest taboo. They revealed the existence of a completely parallel domestic world. For over a decade, rumors circled about Putin and Alina Kabayeva, a highly decorated Olympic rhythmic gymnast. The Kremlin denied it every single time, but the leaks proved it. They have 2 secret sons, Ivan and Vladimir Jr., and their lives are straight out of a dystopian movie. The children live in near total isolation at a heavily fortified presidential compound near Lake Valdai. They do not go to normal schools. They have no normal friends. They are surrounded round the clock by armed guards from the Federal Protection Service, private tutors, and professional sports trainers. When they travel, they don't take cars. They move in armored ghost trains and private jets. And the money funding this secret life? Investigators tracked millions of dollars in surplus construction funds, money originally meant for that massive Black Sea palace, being quietly transferred into gymnastics foundations controlled by Kabayeva. The very same shell companies that were moving dark money across the globe were now paying for private gymnastics camps built exclusively so the isolated children could have a safe place to play. And there is more. There is Louisa, a daughter from another hidden relationship. Her mother was a former cleaner who somehow, miraculously, transformed into a multi-millionaire with luxury real estate across Russia and a massive stake in a ski resort. Her neighbors just happened to be Putin's closest associates. 3 secret families, children hidden from the world, a palace bigger than Versailles, and a financial paper trail so deliberately complex that the world's best intelligence agencies are still trying to untangle it. This did not just happen by accident. This was built deliberately, step by step, starting with a grandfather who survived a dictator's kitchen by being quiet, continuing with a boy who learned in a freezing, rat-infested stairwell that the world only respects force, and crystallizing into a man who realized that true invincibility means owning everything, while officially owning nothing. The system didn't corrupt Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin built the system. But here is the uncomfortable truth, the part that almost nobody wants to say out loud. He didn't build it alone. The global financial system, the prestigious banks in London, the elite corporate lawyers in Cyprus, the quiet wealth managers in Switzerland, they gladly built the tools that made this possible. We handed him the Matryoshka dolls. We sold him the empty boxes, because the fees were simply too good to pass up. Perhaps the most terrifying thing isn't that this dark money network exists, it's that we allow the exact same financial loopholes to operate in our own countries every single day. The same shell companies hiding Russian billions are being used by massive corporations to dodge taxes and legally siphon money out of your economy. If you want to understand exactly how Wall Street uses these exact same offshore tricks to legally steal from the middle class, click the video on your screen right now, because the mechanics are exactly the same and it affects you more than you think. I'll see you there.